as there was a readiness to will, so there may be a performance also out of that which ye have. For if there be first a willing mind, it is acceptable according to that a man hath, and not according to he hath not. Brother Turner, you bless the word, please.
Lord, we thank you for another opportunity to hear your word, God. We pray, Lord, help by the power of this gospel. That you bless our brother George tonight, Lord. And bring the word, Lord. Touch his heart, his mind, and his spirit. Speak for the Lord.
Amen. Give the Lord a big hand clap of praise. He's worthy. I tell you, he's more worthy than we are. He is more. I gotta use proper grammar sometimes. You know, I did go to school. I didn't pay attention too much in that English class, but he is far better to us than we deserve. Not better than we need, because we truly need him. But he is far better to us than we deserve. And as I was reading this and studying, you know, it come to me. It says, anybody here ever made a resolution? Especially like a New Year's resolution. Anybody ever done that? A couple of you. I'd be willing to bet that everybody in here has made one at one time or another. It may not have been the new year. It may have been in the middle of the year. It may have been towards the end of the year. May have been on your birthday, saying, by golly, by the time I turn my next birthday, I'm going to be doing this. Anybody ever thought that way? I've thought that way. I really have. So, but we make these things. You know, believe it or not, Paul was talking about this. Somebody had purposed in their mind a resolution that they were going to do something. Now, if you read the context, in this context, it said they were going to give something. But you know what? You need to take that a little bit further. Because we've all purposed in our heart at one time or another to do something for the Lord, have we not? So here's my thought. Now, some of these things that we would sit back and say, you know what, here's what I want to do next year. Here's what I want to do before I do this. I'm going to fast more often. I'm going to read my Bible more often. I'm going to pray more often. I'm going to sit back and witness to somebody more often. I'm going to visit the sick more often. I'm going to do all these things. Now, we've all got something that we've said that we're going to do to the Lord, right? And the only thing Paul was saying is, hey, you did this, but you're no further than you was a year ago. And what he's trying to say is, he says, now what's holding you back? Anybody ever been held back? Hindered, if you will, right? What is it that causes us to hinder? What is preventing us from actually doing that thing that we told the Lord that we were going to do? Think about it. Cares of this world, anybody got any? Anybody have to work? Anybody like to work? Man, I tell them I go to work, I go like this, I'm going. And they look at me like, you crazy? I said, man, they aren't paying me to come here. I said, I'm happy. And they're like, you're crazy. I go, it's okay. As long as that paycheck shows up, you know, every 2 weeks, I'm happy. And they're like, but the whole point is I told somebody, you know what, I'm going to show up and I'm going to work. And by golly, I expect to get a paycheck at the end of that working. And you know what? So far, it's been pretty good. But you know what? We told the Lord too, right? Anybody remember a song called There's a Payday at the End of the Road? That's a wonderful song. It truly is. Because there is a payday at the end of this road. Amen. And you know what? We're all expecting to get a payday. Every one of us, right? Well, I don't want nothing. I just take a little shack in glory. There ain't no shacks up there. They ain't got none but mansions. And if there was a shack, I would take it too, because it's not in hell. But the whole point is, there is a payday, so what are we doing? Are we fulfilling our end of the bargain, so to speak? And I know we all got a job. Some of us retired, but that still don't mean you don't got no job. I'm just wondering, when you eat food because you cooked, does the dishes get cleaned all by themselves? They don't? The dishwasher does it? Who loads them? Who loads the dishwasher? I says, I do. I load the dishwasher sometimes, and Jonah is the unloader. He does. He unloads the dishes. That's what he does. But see, the thing is, the cares of this world, we get busy. Anybody got a yard? Does the grass grow? Is it growing real good when you get a lot of rain? Anybody like to have the grass mowed? How many wants to get out there and just can't wait to mow it again? He got one back here. He said, yeah, I'll mow it all day. I have a nice yard, about 3/4 of an acre. I give you a glass of tea, you'll be hooked. He goes, I want money. Right? But the whole point is we got cares of this world. I got a wife, she mows it. I'm sorry. I work on the mower. I fix the mower. I put gas in it. I put oil in it. And when she runs over something and causes it to break, I fix it. Tree limbs fall all the time. And when the grass is kind of tall, you ain't looking because you're not policing the ground. You don't care. You're not going out there and picking all them sticks up like you did as a kid. You just, boom, what was that? Yeah. Them little ones, that's nothing. It eat that up like it's nothing. But them other ones that get about that big around, they make some noise on that mower. And it's got to be worked on. I'm so thankful I get to work on a mower in my spare time. Because we got plenty of it, right? Now think about this. We all have plenty of time. We got 24 hours a day. Brother Turner, you got more than 24 hours a day than me?
No.
You ain't got 1 minute more?
No.
Are you sure? Well, we only got a finite amount of time. But we each have cares of this world. We truly do. The grass keeps growing. Anybody got a light bill? Does anybody get the electric company send you money to use their light? It don't work that way, does it? I wish it did. Yeah, we get that rebate every year, right? It's a drop in the bucket, the rebate is $10. Woohoo! You're right, every little bit helps, I agree. But the whole point is, we each and every one have got something. And so, these cares that come up in our life, they truly do. Anybody ever get sick? No, I'm healthy as a horse. I've seen horses get sick. I mean, hello? Have you not seen a horse get sick? It happens. Jonah told me, he said, I'm healthy, Daddy. Yes, you are. If I get sick, Jesus heal me. Yes, he will. He's my Savior. Yes, he is. But you know what? You get sick, that takes some of your time away, don't it? Because you feel so good. You're ready to get out there and do some more. Because you feel sick.
That's right.
Now, I don't think that's how it is. I mean, I'm the only one that's half crazy enough to do that. But I'm telling you, it takes time. You only got so much time. But we each and every, truly we do, we each and every one have cares. Mine are different than yours, and yours is different than mine, and I don't want yours. I don't. I got my own. I got enough. And you probably don't want mine either. You're like, no, I don't want to have to work on some mower that somebody done mowed over a big tree. I mean, But it happens. So when we think of things that hinder us, that's just one thing. Just one thing. Oh, my goodness. Then, of course, I already said there, a lack of time, right? Well, I just don't got no time for that. Well, I just don't. I believe that we have a perceived lack of time. What do you mean? Oh, we all got the same amount of time. It's what are we doing with it? Now, my wife told me, she gave me some sage advice. That means it's pretty highfalutin advice. She says, well, I'll tell you, you'll make time to do stuff you want to do. That's true, by the way. It's truthful. Anybody here make time to do something that you want to do? You're all guilty. Every last one of you. I'm at the top of the list, though. I make time to do what I want to do. I want to eat, so therefore I go to work. I make time for it. I even planned my day around it. I said, you know what? I'm going to go to bed at this time. I am what you call a night owl. Hey, y'all hear a night owl? Y'all stay up all night long, don't you? Sleep all day. Oh, not all of you. I stay up all night long. Working, that is, because I get hungry. Anybody here like to eat? But I actually make time, and then, of course, the boss man makes up the schedule and says, and you will be here. And you're like, yes, I will. Sometimes you got to work more time than you wanted to. Anybody ever had that problem? Now you have even less time because the boss man said, Danny, you're going to stay 12 hours today instead of 8. It happens. Or they say, everybody's going to stay 2 hours late today. I'm like, I'm not on the ODL, man. And y'all like, what is an ODL? It's an overtime desired list. I don't desire it. I don't. When I found out what that meant, when I first joined, they sat back and said, you want to be on the ODL? I said, what, the ODL? Overtime desire. I said, oh, stop right there. I don't desire none of it. I'll just do my 40 and go, thanks. If you would let me do just like 24 or 32 or even less, I would do that. But then I'd be wanting that full-time paycheck probably, right? But still, right, we all have a perceived lack of time because we will make time to do the things that we want to do. We will. So when we say we want to read our Bible, do we truly want to read our Bible? Are we truly making time to do that? We say we want a closer walk with God. It says, draw nigh unto me and I'll draw nigh unto you. That means you got to do something. And that takes time. So therefore, you need to get along with God. But I just don't have the time. Oh, you got it. What are you doing with it? You're like, but that's harsh. Well, it's truth. Does the truth hurt? It does, don't it? Sometimes it does hurt. But the truth is still the truth, and you need it regardless. So I truly mean it's like we have a finite amount of time, but if it's what we do with that time. What is truly the desire of our heart? Think about it. Anybody just all of a sudden, you sit back and say, you know what? I was going to do this. I don't care about doing that. We're going to go and eat. Where y'all want to go? I said, dollar menu at McDonald's. Hello. And everybody do. The wife says, I want something that's not wrapped in paper. I said, I'll unwrap it and put it on a plate for you. She goes, no. I don't understand it. They do, don't they? You know who else got boxes? Pizza people. They got boxes. It ain't wrapped in paper at all. It's in a box. And somehow that's not good enough either. I want a sit-down meal. I'm like, so do I. Cook. You've not been guilty, right? Nobody's been guilty of that except me, right? I'm the dumbest guy you've ever met. So if you want to think of things not to do when you're married, just look at what I've done. I got friends, I kid you not. I got friends, they says, man, we have learned so much from you. Why? Because he said, we can't believe you done did the thing you done did. I go, what do you mean? You just said it, man. I said, what? They go, I kid you not. I say some of the darndest things. Because I don't think, I just do. And I shouldn't do sometimes. I should think before I do. So I'll give you some sage advice, men. Sage. You probably already know this, though. Hey, when the wife says she'd like something to eat, that means it's not in a box. It ain't wrapped in paper. She didn't have to clean it. She don't have to prepare it. All she's got to do is eat it. And it's up for you to sit back and say, well, I guess I'll go ahead and suck it up and do it. Yes, you will. You're like, I'm going to have to learn how to cook. Well, if you don't know how to cook, you're going to have to learn how to drive to a place that does cook. But it's just things, right? We truly do. It's time. And we will make time to do those things that we want to do. We truly will, right? Now, I even wrote down, the list can go on and on and on. There is an excuse, by the way, for everything you want to do. He made a song, I think, called Excuses. It's an older song, you know, so though you fellas that may be just a little over 20 might have heard it, or 40, or 50, or whatever, right? But it's true. There is an excuse for us to do all kind of stuff. So there's also an excuse for us to not do all kind of stuff. So when you said, well, I just don't have time, this came up. I don't have time, this came up. Well, the Lord knows my heart. He sure does. And when you say it like that, you say, yeah, oh, He knows. And so do you. It's what's in the heart. It truly is. So when Brother Wendell was getting on this today, I said, oh my gosh, man. Has he been looking at what I've been reading? Because truly is, right? He said, you know, present yourselves a holy sacrifice, a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable unto God, which is our reasonable service. So when we sit back and say, Lord, I want to do this for you, and a year has gone by, and you ain't lifted one finger to do that, who's to blame? But you say, well, I can't do it now. Au contraire, mon frère. I don't even know what that means, but I've heard it all my life. But I think it means something about to the contrary. There is something you can do about it. So let's get back to the Word and see what there is that we can do about it, right? Because Paul was giving his advice. Verse 11 now, he says, now therefore perform the doing of it. He says, I know you should have done this over a year ago. He said, I'm telling you now. Now, right? Perform the doing of it. He even worded the word now. You know what now is? Just now. What about a minute ago? Well, that was now a minute ago, but now is now. Now, therefore, perform the doing of it, that as there was a readiness. Anybody here ever had a readiness to will? When you sat back and said to the Lord, you know what, Lord, I am going to do this. That was a readiness of the will in your heart. And there was a readiness. And he turns around and says, so there may be a performance also out of that which ye have. That means, I understand you didn't do it before, but I want you to do it now. Because if you don't do it now, guess what? You ain't never going to do it. Ain't never going to do it. Man, that's probably a triple negative, which means it's good. A double negative is bad, but a triple negative, right? That must be good, right? I think so. Never made no good, no how, right? Ooh, that's bad. Anyway, but the whole point is, right? The devil don't want you to perform that which you've done. Said, hey, Lord, I want to do this. He don't, and he will give you every excuse under the sun. He will have the cares of this life. If he could make your grass grow faster, he would. But he can't. But if he could, he would. And if he could throw trouble your way, and he can, he'd go, why? Because the Lord let him do it. He said, well, you know what? I think they need a little trial. What do you mean I need a little trial? He said, my Lord will supply all your needs according to his riches and glory. He knows you need a trial. Well, wait a minute now. That's not what I'm talking about. My need is I want some money. I want some food. I want some clothes. If the Lord knows what you got need of, don't you think that he knows what you need? Anybody here ever have a trial? What happens when you have a trial? Do you grow stronger in the Lord because he brought you through it? And now you look back, I ain't done but a thing. So he knows what you need. There's a song. He knows what I need. Yes, indeed. He knows what I need. All the way from heaven's throne to a manger there alone. It's a song. Tennessee Ernie Ford. That's how I remember singing it. Because I like Tennessee Ernie Ford. Y'all know who that is, right? Oh, yeah. These people are like, what are you talking about? Ford? Ford, is he the guy that made the car? No, he's not. So give the Lord another hand clap of praise. Now, I know I make light of a lot of things. But it said God chose the foolishness of preaching, right? So sometimes it's foolish, but sometimes there's something in that. Well, I can tell you every time there's something in it. If the Lord's got it, it don't matter what it is, there's something in it. So you got to turn around. It's like, how do we get around these things that are preventing us from doing the performing of that which we said we was going to do in the past? Whew. Man, that was a lot. Anybody married? Been married? Got your little sweetheart? Not anymore. Well, think back when you did have. How's that? And then I'm thinking, don't do like what I done, because I done messed up a lot. Anyhow, a marriage, right, or a relationship requires communication. And by God, if you tell this one that day when you said, I do, y'all remember that? Or I will, or whatever it was you done said? It meant you made a vow. Oh my, you made a vow? Well, yeah, that's like a resolution. Uh-oh, wait a minute now. Because you purposed in your heart to marry this other person or go steady, right? With your puppy love. It says, ooh, I love him, I love him, I love him. Well, you could might, I don't know, but you could might. That means, you know what, I ain't going to be seeing nobody else. Why? Because I just want to see you. So do you think that other person cares if you go see somebody else and you done told them, says, you know what, you're the one for me? I don't think it's going to go over so good. I really don't. I assure you it won't. But the whole point is that other person heard you make that vow, that resolution, right? Now, when we make our resolutions to the Lord, sometimes they ain't so audible where everybody else can hear it, but the Lord doesn't know you said it because it came out from the heart. Lord, if you just get me out of this pickle, I'll do more for you. The Lord got you out the pickle, and what are you doing? Nothing more than you was doing before. Anybody been guilty of that? Well, we all guilty, right? But the whole point is, so how do we get around it, right? You know what? There's a recipe for success in the Word. You're like, really? Yes, there is. So he wrote that down. How can we be resolute? That's a big word, ain't it? Well, you know, resolute. Well, how about if I give you a definition of resolution? A firm decision to do or not to do. Oh, you never thought of it that way, did you? To do something, the quality of being determined or resolute. Therefore, you must be determined. For I am determined to what? Hold out to the end. For what? Jesus is with me. On him I can what? Depend. So is he dependent on us? Oh, wait a minute now. You want to depend on him, but you don't want him to depend on you. That's not what I said. Actions speak louder than words, people. Oh, I was getting back to my recipe. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on no toes, except mine. I do that a lot. I didn't even trip over my own feet. Good thing I wear steel toes. Now, so how can we be resolute in our willingness to serve the Lord? By being led by the Spirit. You know, Brother Wendell touched on that a little bit this morning. I said, has he been reading? Because if you come back a couple chapters, it even talks about that. If you walk right in the Spirit, you're not to fulfill the lust of the flesh. But I wanted to look at something else. So in John chapter 16, like I do that, and verse 13, it talks about something guiding us. What does a guide do? what does a guide do? They kind of lead you and make sure you, hey man, if you go this way, you're going to get hosed. Matter of fact, you want to get out of this whatever you're in, you need to listen to what I'm telling you. Because if you don't listen, you ain't going to get out. But here is our guide. So our guide would also lead us, would they not? So there it is. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all truth. He will guide us into all truth. For if we are led by the Spirit, right? And it says that the Spirit will guide you into all truth. Anybody here ever done something that wasn't truthful? Don't put your hand up. People know you're bad. That's why I done it. Let's see. For he shall not speak of himself, but whatsoever he shall hear, that shall he speak, and he will show you things to come. That's right, Jonah. That's right. So, in order for us to be led by the Spirit, you got to have the Spirit. Wait a minute now. Well, I got it. Well, is he leading and guiding you? Yes or no? Just a thought. So getting to the other part, it says, if you walk in the Spirit, ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. That's Galatians 5:16, right? I think that's where that is. Oh, we'll read it. Why, yes, it is. It starts out with the word this. In italics, that is. This I say then, walk in the Spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Anybody here got a lust of the flesh? You know you got flesh, you mean you're all guilty. Hey, I just wonder, has anybody got a thing for ramen noodles? Chicken flavor? Yeah, because the beef ain't no good. I'm sorry. I remember when I was at Jeff Boat, these guys gave me a little recipe book, says 1,000 ways to cook your ramen. Because I showed up at work all the time with a little thing of ramen. They said, what are you doing? I said, I'm eating. He said, that ain't eating. I said, but it's good. No, it ain't. There's better food out there. But that's what I liked. And when I was on recruiting duty in the Navy, I sat back and I would take me a pack of hot dogs, throw them in the refrigerator. What are you going to do eat today? I'm going to eat a hot dog. Dude, don't take it old. It's good. Stick it in the microwave. 30 seconds. It's hot and it's plump. You want to put that on a bun? Well, I don't know. Depends on how hot it is. If it's too hot, yep, got to put it in a bun. If it ain't, I'll just eat it cold. I don't care. And they're like, you're a sick, sick man. I said, I know. But I like it. Well, you know, I want to eat them later. I'm going to eat those later. That's right, Paul Harvey. He's got it, buddy. But there's the whole thing. I mean, I have some weird tastes. I really do. I like the taste of the chicken-flavored ramen. And you know what? There's different types of ramen. There's the Maruchan and that other thing. That other thing, their little seasoning packet is not all that. I'd just rather throw it away. And therefore, just don't buy that brand. And the good thing is cheap because, you know, you can get over a quarter. Because I think you can get a pack of ramen for like 12 cents. You can. Unless you go to a vending machine, it's $1. And I refuse to pay $1 for a pack of ramen. Not going to do it. So I sat back. I mean, but this is what I'm trying to get at, right? If we're led by the flesh, we're probably not going to make good decisions. I can tell you right now, the amount of sodium that's in a ramen is enough to kill a man. And I put 2 packets in there. 2. And you know that a ramen packet is serving of 2. So when I take 2 of them to put them together, that's a serving of 4. I'm getting 4 times the daily allowance of sodium. And then I go like this with the salt. I am well preserved, I'm telling you that. But to see, the flesh makes some dumb decisions. Y'all didn't think I was going anywhere with that, did you? He goes, well, you're eating ramen. That's pretty dumb. But the whole point It could have been a nice steak, right? Anybody like steak? The flesh likes some good steak. Well done by that is, right? I want it raked over the coals, man. I don't want it to go, because when I stab it, I don't want to hear it. I don't want it to move on the plate. I just like the stuff well done. I just can't help myself, you know. But the flesh is bad. I'm telling you, it is. So, but if you're led by the Spirit, you won't fulfill the lusts of the flesh. Because guess what? The Spirit don't care about no food unless it's the Word. Ain't that what Jesus said? Taste them. Not Paul, but David said, taste and see that the Lord, He is what? He is good. And we know the Lord is His Word. Oh. So eat it up. How do you eat it up? Open it first. It's almost like an instruction, right? Y'all know what Bible means? Basic instructions before leaving earth. And if you ain't never heard that, now you have. Think about it. But if this thing don't do you no good if it ain't never opened up. You got to open it up and you got to read it. You got to eat it. Let it get down into. What did John say? And he gave me a little book. And he put it in his mouth. Oh, it was sweet like honey. Then it went on down and got a little bitter. Sometimes the word gets a little bitter. But sometimes it's exactly what you need. Exactly. Every many a time I sat back and I felt horrible. Couldn't get an answer. Couldn't do nothing. Opened up the Word and said, thank you, Lord, you give it to me. But if you're not being led by the Spirit, you're not going to feed the Spirit. Now, are you? Just a thought. Trying to figure now, how is it that we can stay resolute in our willingness to serve the Lord? Okay. Only. You're like, what do you mean only? I wrote it down. Only through Jesus. What do you mean? You got any scripture to back that up? Well, of course I do, man. I wouldn't be writing it down if I didn't. Because when I sit back and do this, the Lord just throws it into your head. He does. You're like, no, He don't. I said, try Him. You'll find out the truth. But in John 13, I think. 15 and 5. Remember how it starts out in John 15? For I am the vine and you are the branches, right? Y'all remember that, don't you? Yeah. And John 14 starts out, right? For I am the way, right? Here it is, right? I am the vine, and ye are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. Here's what I was trying to get at. Because only Jesus, right? For without me, ye can do everything, right? You mean it don't say everything? For without me, you can do something. Nope. Without Him, we can't do nothing. So only through Jesus are we even able to sit back and be resolute in our service to the Lord. If you ain't got Jesus, you ain't got nothing. It's true. Anybody believe that? If you believe that, give the Lord a hand clap. So I'm serious. We've all been guilty of these resolutions. Lord, we're going to do this. A year done gone by, we ain't done nothing. Or maybe you started, you know what, Lord, I'm going to do this. And you was good for a couple weeks. But later on, you ain't done nothing more. So Paul's telling us, he says, don't put it off. Do it. Perform the doing of it. So as they get back with the music, I want you to ask yourself, what is it You know what I mean? What is it that you done told the Lord that you was going to do that you ain't done? Well, Brother Chris apparently had a whole lot there. Because he laughed, he goes, I can't do that much at one time. You got to start somewhere. Right? Even if it's the most simplest thing, you got to start somewhere. You got to do something. That's what Paul was saying. He says, you should have been forward a year ago. A year ago you should have done that. Should have done, golly. I really don't care about grammar. I really don't. Now, if I'm writing, I actually do it correct. It's just when I talk, it comes out different. So the whole point is, what is it that we said that we're going to do to the Lord? What is it? And then, are we doing it? And if we're not doing it, why not? You say, well, I can start now. Yes, you can, because it says, now perform the doing of that. For there was a willingness to perform, now therefore do it. So as they sing something, if there's something that you did, just hey, come on up here. You can come up to the altar, you can stay in your seat. I don't care what you do. When you sit back, the point is, it says, perform the doing of it. And if you need something, well, come. The Lord knows what you got need of. So if y'all go ahead, please stand. It'll put us in the right frame of mind. That gets you halfway closer to that altar now. Anybody here remember when you first got saved? Anybody here have a knuckle grip of death on a pew or a chair or whatever in front of you? You wasn't about to turn loose, was you? Turn loose and let go sometimes. Believe me, if you start walking toward the Lord, He'll meet you. Just like the prodigal son, He will meet you. That's all He wants. But go ahead there, girls. Y'all sing something? Because the Lord knows what you need. Whatever.
I shall